Right then, we are back and it is time for WarGames. This is Raven's Flock up against the Black family. So, of course, Raven's Flock is Raven, Chris Kanyon, Billy Kidman and Perry Saturn, which is an incredible group of people. I think they've got to be the favourites for this one. Taking on the Black family. We've got Charley, Manson, Dark Oz, Dark Scoria and Dark Cuervo. Yeah, Raven's Flock is incredible, aren't they? Right, the rules are, you know these by now, don't you really? But 2 teams will be contained in separate cages with 1 member from each team starting the match. At regular intervals, alternating members from each team will be released to enter the match. The team with the advantage will be released first. That's normally the team in the left-hand cage for some reason. I left it as random, so I don't know who it's going to be, but we'll find out together. Once all competitors have entered the match, the WarGames officially begins. The match will be won by pinfall or submission, but if you try and escape the cage, and you succeed in escaping the cage, you will be classed as forfeiting the match for your team. So first of all, yes, it is going to be Raven's Flock then that do have the mad advantage because they're in the left-hand cage. And it looks to me like, first of all, is going to be... I mean, who could it be? I mean, there's nobody better. I mean, who better than Kanyon? Kanyon... I'm a bit disappointed myself on this one. So, Kanyon is someone that I do rate quite highly, I must admit. But we didn't start using him until this year. And the 2 matches we have used him in, both singles matches, he's lost them both so far. He's -2 for 2, which is disappointing as well. I think he made his debut as part of the Fresh Meat match we did. It was a good couple of months ago now. We had 30 men that had never wrestled in SWE before making their debut. And then he also wrestled recently at our Invasion pay-per-view as well in a triple threat. So both have been very difficult matches to win, don't get me wrong. But this is a big opportunity for him to get his first victory in SWE. And like I said, I fancy Raven's Flock here to be the favourites. I really do. And representing the Black family, kicking things off for them is going to be, I think I can tell who it is already by looking at the cage behind, is going to be Charley Manson. Charley Manson is on -1 after 3 matches. He had 2 matches back in 2021. Finished on 0 after those. This year so far he's had 1 match which he lost, which I've got a feeling was... When did we do that? When did Charley Manson wrestle? I'm sure it was this week, wasn't it? I'm sure it was this week. Let me have a look. Manson, yes, he was. There we go. He was part of the Battle of the Cult Leaders back at last week's Halloween Havoc. That's what it was. He faced Raven, Bray Wyatt, Kevin Sullivan, Waylon Mercy, and Brester Brody Lee. Of course, he lost that match. It's very difficult to win when you're in those sort of massive matches, hence what we just said about Chris Kanyon as well. Right then, let's get underway. While we are here, I shall check the rest of each team in the ranking system. So first of all, Billy Kidman. Billy Kidman's on +3 after 7 matches. He's done pretty well so far. Perry Saturn. Oh, God. Perry Saturn. There we go. Got it right. +3 after 8 matches, which is pretty good as well. And Raven is on 0 after 17. So, I do... Yeah. I think Raven's Flock will be the favourite, and I would like them to win as well, because all 4 of these guys, I do think, although they're doing okay in the rankings, I do think all 4 of them should be higher up, especially Raven. 0 for Raven is pretty low, and Chris Kanyon being -2 is criminal, really. And then looking at the Black family then, we have got Dark Oz. Dark Oz is the one with the black and blue attire. I think he's on the left-hand side of the cage at the back. He is on -1 after 1. Dark Cuervo is the one with the yellow and black attire on the back right of the cage at the moment. He is also on -1 from 1. Dark Scoria. Okay, this is a debut then for Dark Scoria. He's never wrestled in SWE before. Dark Scoria, otherwise known as Scoria. So I don't think he has. No, he hasn't. Okay. Debut then for Dark Scoria. Last time we used a different... Okay, I did see it there. I will tell you in a minute. I lost it now. I freaking lost it now. Dark Scoria. There he is. Boom. Right, added him onto the ranking system. Billy Kidman is now officially in the match. So last time we did Dark Espirito. He's been dropped this time for Dark Scoria to make his debut. Billy Kidman here, not messing around. He's thrown a kendo stick in the ring, a table, and now a trash can as well. And he's finally decided that it's time to enter the match. Yeah, Billy Kidman's done pretty well. I've said this recently. I think Billy Kidman was someone that I really like. He was someone, I've said before how much I really appreciate. I was growing up during the Attitude Era, during the Monday Night Wars, and the one thing that WCW always massively outdid WWF on was the Cruiserweight division. And people like Billy Kidman was just an amazing talent. He was, I think, the first guy I ever saw do the shot. Let me start that again. He was the first guy I ever saw do the shooting star press, and it was so impressive to me at that age that I quickly became a fan of him. There's Charlie Manson now getting sent over to the middle by Kanyon, and this 2-on-1 situation hasn't lasted for very long because Dark Cuervo has been released into this match, the one in black and yellow. Black and yellow, black and yellow. So here he comes. Is he going to grab some toys? He is going to grab some toys from under the ring. He's got a steel chair, as it looks like Kanyon's setting up the table, but he turned his back, and that allowed Charlie Manson to pedigree Billy Kidman. Oh, the table collapsed there. Kanyon looked like he was going to try and power slam Charlie Manson through. Dark Scoria now enters the match, going straight after Chris Kanyon. There's the DDT. And now looking to set the table up, and the 2-on-1 advantage that the Flock had has been quickly overturned by the introduction of Dark Cuervo. Has been very dominant so far. Charlie Manson now with a crossroads. So remember, it will be an entrant from the Flock coming up next. And I think, if I'm correct, based on... Oh my god, that was a bit of a weird way of doing it. But Kanyon, incredible move by that. I think it's going to be Perry Saturn next. Because where people stand in the cage generally gives away the order they're coming in. So it looks like it's going to be Perry Saturn next. And the timer is on. The referee opens the cage door, and it is Perry Saturn who enters the match. Saturn getting some opportunities here. We'll also see him next week, of course, in our ECW November to Remember show. We don't really use Perry Saturn as a single star a lot, do we really? Whenever we bring in ECW, he's generally part of the Eliminators. But in fairness, the Eliminators are an incredible tag team. That's the reason we use them. However, we do have John Cronus in a singles match at I keep calling him TNA, it's not TNA. We do have John Cronus, the other member of the Eliminators, in a singles match in ECW's show next week. So maybe Perry Saturn can also get a singles opportunity. And Kanyon definitely starting to showcase his ability now. Hit some high maneuvers. Chris Kanyon, of course, one of the guys that originally trained Brian Cage. I think we mentioned this earlier on in the week when we spoke about Brian Cage. Cage, of course, uses that catchphrase, "Who better than Cage?" That is a direct reference to Chris Kanyon. Who better than Kanyon? Oh yeah, Kanyon was greatly underappreciated in my opinion. But a lot of the really talented people in WCW were underappreciated. That was the issue. And that's what I've said about current day WWE as well. We're so obsessed with these big names, the likes of Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton, John Cena and that sort of stuff, that we don't ever really pay attention to the people that are really fantastic in-ring competitors very often. As we do now have released from the cage, this is Dark Oz, black and blue attire, coming straight into the match. And the 3-on-3 now, numbers advantage of the Flock is gone. Of course, Perry Saturn, also a member of the Radicals, incredible group when you think about just how great they were. Granted, they don't get spoken about a lot now because of the Benoit situation, shall we say. Lovely Death Valley driver there by Chris Kanyon on Charlie Manson. Perry Saturn dropping the elbow drop into the knee now on Dark Oz in the right-hand ring. So we know the next entrant in the match there will be Raven. And the final entrant will be the debuting Dark Scoria. And then as soon as Dark Scoria enters the match, the bell will ring and the match will officially begin. Maybe we could have... No, that's not right, actually. I'm just thinking the Gangsternators. That was John Cronus and New Jack, wasn't it? I'm sure we can find something for Perry Saturn. That's it. We don't necessarily need to find something for Perry Saturn to do, to be honest. Let's see how things go. Now a Dark Oz. Wow, with Kanyon up on the shoulder, hit the Death Valley driver. The Raven has been released. And he's not messed around. He's straight into the match. Knows how important this 4-on-3 man advantage is going to be for a good minute or so before the release of Dark Scoria. Look at Kanyon now with a trash can. But Raven just got flatlined there. His face just about missed the table. Look at Perry Saturn here with the figure 4 locked in on Dark Oz, while Kanyon just brutalised him with the boots. But the man advantage is not really working too well. I mean, they're 2-on-1 in Dark Oz in the right-hand ring, but in the left-hand ring, it's still the Black family who's in firm control of the match. Charlie Manson now backpack position. In with a flatliner on Billy Kidman. And at the moment, I mean, the man advantage, like I say, is not really working too well for the Flock. So when it becomes 4-on-4, that's going to be a problem. Raven with the arm breaker, though, taking down Charlie Manson, of course, has been in the match for the longest now. He's the smartest one to try and take down. And here comes the countdown then. Dark Scoria about to enter the SWE ring for the very first time. There's the crossroads now by Charlie Manson on Raven. As soon as Dark Scoria enters the match, the bell will ring. The match will officially begin. But he's going to get himself some toys first. There's a steel chair, and that's enough. He is in. The referee will shut the door now. The bell will ring. First pinfall or submission now will determine the victor, as Billy Kidman there straight in with the unprettier on Charlie Manson. Saturn with a backbreaker, and all of a sudden the Flock are now taking control of this one. Reverse DDT by Dark Oz. Billy Kidman enters the ring there with a sledgehammer. Straight into the gut of Dark Oz. Perry Saturn bringing Charlie Manson back up into the powerbomb position. Running Liger bomb by Perry Saturn on Charlie Manson. Raven setting the table up. Could Raven put Charlie Manson through the table? He does pick him up in that suplex position. But Manson able to break free, not going through that table. Raven taking down Charlie Manson. Dark Scoria catches Raven. Raven with the elbows though into the gut. Raven now taking Scoria up with his suplex onto the steel chair. And now look at Saturn swinging that chair. Billy Kidman now working over Dark Cuervo in the right-hand ring as Kanyon just slams him face first into the mat. Billy Kidman, I'd love to see Billy Kidman hit a shooting star press off the top of this cage. It was something when the game very first came out, we did see people doing dives off the top of the cage. And I don't think I've seen one in a very long time, to be honest. We've done quite a lot of WarGames recently. We haven't seen many people coming off the top of the cage at all. Pinfall attempt here by Billy Kidman. Raven catches Dark Oz, stopping him from getting there. And that allows Team Billy Kidman, Raven's Flock, to pick up the victory. Dark Oz and Dark Cuervo both move down to a -2 after 2. Dark Scoria on his debut moves down to a -1 after 1. Charlie Manson with that loss is going to move down to a -2 after 4. But now the winners then. We have got Billy Kidman with that victory, moves up to a +4 after 8. Chris Kanyon picks up his first ever victory in SWE and moves up to a -1 after 3. Perry Saturn, which I've spelt wrong again, with that victory moves up to a +4 after 9. And of course, the Raven himself is going to move up to +1 after 18. Big win for them then. I don't know if Raven's Flock actually had a tag team. We'll have to have a look at that in a second. Let's check and see if the Dark Family, the Black Family had a tag team. Dark Order, Dark State, Dark Order. There we go. The Black Family. They moved down to -2 after 2 as well then. Simple as that. Let me have a quick look then. So, Ravens, Flock, WCW. Did they have a specific tag team? Looking now. Let me see if they ever won a tag team, WCW tag team championship with the best way of doing it. WCW members. Doesn't say who the actual team would have been though. The Flock. Okay. No, it doesn't really say too much, to be honest. Let me look at the championships just in case then. No, okay. So they won the television championship as Perry Saturn. They won the United States Championship with Raven. Apart from that, they never won any tag team titles. So I'm not going to class... Well, let me know what you think. Was there a official tag team for Raven's Flock that we can add to our tag team rankings? Or should we just utilize them the way we have for now, like this? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I'm going to love you. Leave that as the end of today's action. Tomorrow, then, we have Halloween Havoc for you. 5 big matches. The Undertaker defending his Hardcore Championship against Electroshock, who will be wrestling twice tomorrow. We've got the Devil's favourite demon match. Kane, The Fiend, Belzegor, Demon Balor, Demon Liger, Mil Muertes, Defunto, and Danhausen. We've got Jazz defending the Hardcore Championship against Victoria. We've got Rated RKO defending the YouTube Tag Team Championships against Chessman and Electroshock. The Acolytes, Farouk and Bradshaw, and Decay, Abyss, and the Beast Mortos. Before the main event of the evening, Juventud Guerrera versus Eddie Guerrero. Alright, I love you. Leave it. Good night. God bless everybody. Say like and subscribe to the bigger stuff. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.